Delinquentnation, Prison Diaries. This is Dave. What's happening, Dave?
Yeah, cool, bro.
Shane, what's good?
Yeah, I'm okay. Getting by.
Getting by, yeah?
Yeah, the coronavirus thing is a bit up in the air, you know.
Would you,
Not bad or anything, you know. It's not all that good.
how's coronavirus been for you? What's the regime been
It's
like?
just the lack of things to do, you know. It's like no stimulation, no uh, motivation to do anything. It's just, you know, it just gets you down. Anyone that's not having contact with people properly and, you know, not doing anything, just being locked up most of the day, it's going to get to anyone, isn't it? You just have to ride it and try to do what you can. I mean, I read a lot and
Yeah.
I do in-cell courses on different subjects and that, which help to pass the day and to keep you stimulated a bit. But there's only a certain amount you can do, and then, you know, especially with myself, I get headaches. I suffer from headaches and that.
Yeah.
And too much looking and staring at things, it brings them on, so I can't do it for too long, you know.
Yeah, does it affect you? Would you say it affects your mental health, like all of the lockup?
Definitely, yeah. It just makes you feel like worthless, you know. You need things to do to make yourself feel good in terms of like your self-esteem and that, your self-worth. When you're not doing stuff, when you're not progressing or doing anything that's, you know, setting goals and achieving those goals, you just think negative. It's like you just got nothing to motivate you, you know, and it just brings you down.
Right.
And the problem with prison is that you can't really go around talking to people about deep stuff because, you know, that in prison there's a bit of a code that weakness is showing that you're vulnerable, is showing that you're weak, and then people take advantage of that. So you have to put on a front for everyone, you know, and you have to like be the person that you're not, just to show them that you're okay, you know. But deep down, you do suffer. Everyone does.
Yeah.
You know, but being in the environment we're in, we can't really
Show
show
it.
that too much.
Do you think everyone pretends and acts like everything's okay, but?
Yeah, you got to. I mean, you know, some of us are fortunate enough to have good guys that you can go and have a chat to on a one-to-one, you know. But mainly, you know, it's just like you have to put on that front, you know, and just pretend that everything's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Just gonna ask you a few questions, yeah, about your time in prison.
Yeah.
But before I ask you that, I just wanted to ask you, you've done a bit of bird, yeah?
I've done a lot of bird, unfortunately, yeah.
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 How do you think prison's changed, first of all? How do you think it's changed from like back in the days till now?
Well, back in the days, it was very humane, you know. It was like no one should be living in those conditions that you lived in back in the day. You know, you used to slop out. You know, there was no sink.
What does slop out mean for the people that don't know?
Okay, slop out is like in your cell you didn't have a toilet,
Yeah.
so you used to have a baby's potty in the corner of the cell, and you have to piss and shit in that pot, and then there was certain hours in a day that they would unlock you, and then you would slop that out, what they call slop it out into a recess, and then you just put it down a slush,
Yeah.
wash your pot out and bring it back.
Right.
You had to fill a bowl up with hot water, bring it into the cell so you could have a wash, because there was no sink and running water. There was no kettle, there was no electric, it was just a cell.
Yeah.
With a bed and a cupboard.
I think it's got a
you
lot
had to
better
eat
now.
in that cell, you had to shit in that cell.
Yeah.
There was no phones back then, you wasn't allowed to use a phone.
It's just writing letters.
You could write letters, yeah. You could get your canteen you got, and you could get tobacco and that on your canteen. I mean, that was the only thing that you could add really that was the same as being outside, you know, that you could smoke still.
Yeah. You can't smoke now, can you?
You can't smoke now, no, they give you vapes.
Yeah.
But now there's the electric in the cell, you've got a kettle where you can boil water, you know, you've got a TV, which then you was only allowed AM and medium wave radios. You wasn't allowed, you didn't have TVs, you couldn't even have an FM radio.
No?
No, it was just AM and medium wave. So yeah, back in the days it was a lot harder. So prisoners don't know how lucky they've got it these days.
Yeah.
Apart from your freedom to do what you want when you want, you've got everything, you know. I feel sorry for the people outside where, you know, your family and that, they've got trying to support you and send you money each week, and it's more harder on them than it is on you.
Yeah.
You know, I try not to rely on people that side and get by what I've got, but you know, people do care and they send money in,
Yeah.
and but yeah, it's a lot harder for your family outside in terms of like having to be worried about financial, you know, responsibilities and that. You just got no responsibility in prison. You just get told when to get up, when to eat. You know, it's like you just got no responsibility.
Yeah. You don't do nothing for yourself.
Don't do nothing for yourself. You're told what to do and when to do it and how to do it all the time.
Yeah.
So
Do you think there's a rehabilitation in prison? Do you think like prison
there is. I wouldn't say rehabilitation is it's like they do prepare you for going outside. There's courses you can do, and there's like workshops you can go on to learn a trade. But you know, one of the main things that I think the government should be providing is accommodation for people when they get out.
have they
That is where they fail. I mean, that's a basic need of a human being, to have a roof over their head. And at the end of the day, they're throwing all this money to rehabilitate us with courses and everything. But when you walk out, they give you £45 discharge grant and nowhere to live, you know. So how are you going to start building a life without even having a basic need of a roof over your head, you know? So all that training that they've given you goes out the window because you're walking out to nothing, you know. So I think the government should be looking at, you know, an halfway house even, where you could go, then you could start, as long as you've got somewhere safe and secure, then you can start looking for places and building up a life to be able to afford to find somewhere to live, or even give for people accommodation, you know. It's not easy when you're walking out with nothing and you ain't even got a roof over your head. That's just stupid. I don't get that at all. They're throwing all this money into rehabilitation, and then come the end of your sentence, you just chucked to the wolves.
Yeah. Have you ever been made homeless?
Yeah, I was made homeless on my last sentence. I did 3 years out of 6, and then when I got out, they sent me to an AP. That's a approved premises where probation run it, and the maximum you're supposed to stay there is 3 months. But I stayed there 6 months because there was just nowhere that they were sending me to viewings, and there was like 6 or 7 people viewing the same property, and the landlord knows a bit about your background. So, you know, being an ex-prisoner, then you're not going to be the first on the list to be chosen. So you're going, you know, you're having to fight 6 other people to get that property.
Yeah.
So you're never gonna get a property out of them unless you're really lucky. So.
And then after that, they just said you have to go on the street.
Yeah, they said to me, sorry, we need your bed, and you have to leave. So they put me on the street. Luckily, I had my sister to put me up, but you know, at that address there was drug use going on. People was using in front of me, and you know, I'm an ex-addict myself, and it was like the temptation was too much. What with the stress of not having anywhere to live, and I can't find a job, and there was having, you know, cannabis about, and that the smell of the skunk, it was just too tempting. I went back into smoking the skunk, and the skunk leads to A class, and then before you know it, you're back in the cycle again, you know, hanging about with the wrong people, smoking crack, committing crime to pay for it, and you're either dead or come back into prison, you know.
Lastly, because we haven't got long left, what advice would you give to people thinking about coming to prison, and advice to people that are leaving prison? Because I'm going on a couple of days.
Well, people that are committing crime, there's always a chance of you getting arrested. You can't commit crime and do it time and time again and get away with it. So I would advise anyone that's into crime, if they've earned money from their crime, instead of wasting the money, they need to put it into something that they can go legit with. and then build on that, because it's not worth putting yourself on offer all the time. You're going to get nicked and end up in prison, and prison's not a nice place to be spending your time. It's comfortable in prison and it's easy, but at the end of the day, your life stands on hold until you can go out, and you're missing so many opportunities through coming into prison. For someone that's going out, I would say that forget about the old lifestyle, forget about all the garms and the money and the cars and the lifestyle that you used to live. Just be grateful for being out and free, and take that really serious, because your freedom is the only thing you got, and you can at least have a chance to build over the months and years, rather than looking over your shoulder, wondering whether you're going to come back into prison. So just stay out of the way of people that are into no good. Look for opportunities to build on your life, on whether that be educational, whether that be career in working. Do something legit, and build a good family ties, and just show love out there, mate.
Right, yeah, that was really good advice, man.
Yeah.
Right, this is Dave. That was Prison Diaries. Out.